Dun, 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 boom. Getting ready for the show. You got it on Wednesday, and you were psyched about it. Go and turn the volume up. These guys will talk about it.
Hey, Jagoff. Yeah, you, turn around. Jagoff.
This is Comic Geek Speak, episode 1676, The Best of Storytime with Uncle Sal, Part 1. Welcome to the show. I'm Brian Chrisman. I've been wanting to do one of these for quite a long time, a compilation of some of the best bits with our friend Sal Abbinanti, a.k.a. Uncle Sal. We've had him on the show many times over the last 12 years, and he's always made me laugh and just a great, great guest. Of course, he's perhaps better known as Alex Ross's art agent. Sal's also an artist in his own right. And I also consider him our own sort of 21st century Mark Twain with his storytelling. So what you're going to hear next is a compilation of best bits from the first 2 years of Sal's appearance on our show, from 2005 to 2007. More or less in chronological order. It was really a treat to go back and listen to these and just hear our friendship progress with Sal. So I hope you enjoy them as much as I enjoyed listening to them, putting this together for you. A couple of quick things, of course. This episode is not suitable for work, so earmuffs, and you probably really shouldn't operate any heavy machinery. Listen to the episode here. So we'll start out with Sal's first appearance on our show back in episode 74 from November of 2005. Oh, yes, and just one more thing.
And if I offend anybody, too fucking bad.
We're going to actually attempt to get this time Sal Abbinanti on the phone. He's the creator and the artist on Atomica. And so for the last few minutes here, we're just going to quick talk to him about the book. Atomica and Mercury Comics are sponsoring this episode. MercuryComics.com, where you can pick up any kind of news on Atomica and release dates and trade release dates and things like that. And in this room, Brian, Jamie, and I have read it.
Yep.
They sent us the first 4 issues, and we all read it. And Jamie, you said you liked it, yeah?
Yeah, actually, I liked it a lot. I'd been looking at it on the shelf at our local shop. I just hadn't picked it up. I don't know why. And
Great.
when I heard they were going to, sponsor us, and then they had sent us the first 4, I was very, very happily sat down and read it. And I'll wait to tell them.
Cool. Yep. Hey, Sal.
Yes.
Hey, it's Peter.
Peter, I'm sorry, man. I can't apologize enough to you guys.
No problem. We're here at the end of the episode, and we have a few minutes, and we just want to just rap a little bit about Atomica. You said you're actually in the studio. You said you were up late last night.
Man, it's like nothing but it's like you urinate coffee when you're working on these things. It's just I've been pulling all-nighters since I started this thing, because it just works out to be the best time to get stuff done. You don't have as many distractions, and you got nobody to talk to, and so you wind up living the life of a vampire. So yeah, I'm finishing up Atomica. I'm getting going on number 7. There's a lot of big double-page spreads of him destroying Moscow. So
cool.
Which usually leads to a lot of sleepless nights.
We just were actually talking about reading the first 4 issues, and Jamie was talking about what he was just giving his little review on it.
Yeah, I was just saying how much I really did enjoy it. I'd said I'd been looking at these on the shelf at the comic shop, just hadn't gotten a chance to pick them up.
And you haven't bought them like everybody else, right?
Yeah, but I will say.
No, yeah.
No, it's the truth. I was like, hey, I'll wait till they get into a 50-cent box, but
it won't take long. It's one of those things nowadays with independent books nowadays. It's tough, to get people to give new stuff a shot after they've only got a certain amount of dough when they walk into a comic store. And, you got to get your main titles, the stuff that you're in there for. And to give people to give indie stuff a shot is 99% of the battle.
But I will tell you, I enjoyed all 4 of them.
I appreciate it.
I'm now back working at our local store, so I will start pimping that as best I can.
Oh, well, and then getting retailers to buy into indie stuff is equally as hard, because, since Diamond changed their rules, without getting too heavy into this stuff, if the comic owner buys them and he can't sell them, he's got to eat them.
Yep.
So,
but our guy has all 4 issues on the shelf, And it got. I mean, I'm looking forward to issue number 5. I'm going to pick it up, and I even think I'm going to either pick up the 4 issues or maybe just wait for the trade, since you said there's going to be more stuff in the trade, and pick that up.
Well, now, since you guys are involved with the show, you get free copies, so I wouldn't, I'm not going to tell you not to buy it, but I'll send them to you either way. So.
Okay, well, that's cool.
Because we got the trade coming out.
Okay.
Because we've left Speakeasy, which kind of screwed up our schedule a little bit because we decided to go off on our own with Mercury Comics, which just basically means you do all the work instead of somebody telling you they're doing the work and not actually doing the work. But we're going to act. For some weird reason, we're going to have 5 and 6 both coming out in the month of November. I don't know how that worked itself out, but I didn't actually draw 2 issues in a month. But, and then the trade's coming out, and Alex Ross was nice enough to do the cover for me for the trade. Hopefully, if people pick it up just for that. That's part of the reason you get them, but, hopefully they'll read the thing.
And that's what got me to look at the first one, that cover. Can you just give us, like, a quick overview? I mean, is it, a quick, like, 5-minute, not 5-minute, but a couple-minute overview of the series?
Well, it's basically, it started out of desperation more than anything. I mean, my art style is just, it's not mainstream enough. At least that's what I heard from 10,000 different editors who looked at my portfolio like they were looking at a car wreck. And, they just kept telling me my stuff was too European. It was too European. And I don't know what that means. If I'm supposed to go, I live in Chicago. Does that mean I moved to Europe to draw comics? Or do I just, go back to the bar? Because I was a bartender for 12 years. And so I said, well, I better just put my money where my mouth is and put up my own dough for it. And Atomica kind of just came about, again, from the whole idea that, it's Russia growing up in the 70s was the evil empire. So I wanted to do something kind of Kirby-esque, of larger than life, instead of just a regular guy in a costume, jumping off a building, or a Batman type of thing. I figured I would make it on a larger scale. And in a nutshell, he's the god of the 20th century. I looked up a little Russian mythology and a lot of Russian history, and it turned out to be worse than I thought. What was going on over there. And so it's kind of, Stalin made religion illegal, and he told the people that, technology is your god. They created a god for the people. So that, I'm not a big Russian history guy, but that in mixture with my growing up with Kirby and growing up with John Buscema and reading Thor and all that, I said, let me put something together here. And I didn't realize it was going to be taken so heavy by people. I've gotten some letters from, like, Russian professors, and I don't know what they're talking about, but it sounds good.
Are they being nice, or is it?
Well, I get the religious guys that are mad about the title because it's God is Red, so I get a lot of hate mail about that, and then I get a lot of guys that are like Russian history people that write me, and they read into it way more than they should. Like, are you a communist, or why don't you move? And, it's better if you got out of this country, and they call me comrade, and I'm like, comrade? I'm from the north side of Chicago. I don't know what the comrade part is, but I guess it's good. Again, I don't know if they just type in God, and then they get God is Red on the computer, and then they go, well, this guy's, I get a lot of religious people mad at me, so.
Wow. And then, hey, you know what?
I don't know, man. I was like, I just want to draw comics. That's all I tell them,
You're doing something right if you're pissing people off.
I guess. It's there's a lot of liberty when you're basically completely screwed in terms of getting jobs in comics. You just figure, well, I got nothing to lose. So if I'm going to go down in flames, I may as well make it a strange book. So I didn't do it on purpose, but I guess that's how it worked out.
So those are your influences, Jack Kirby and John
Jack Kirby, John Buscema. Yeah, people always ask me, who's your influence? Like, I'm going to name some, they name these European guys that I've never heard of. And I'm like, I'd love to be all chic and mention all these guys. Oh, yeah, Salvatore Dali's like, no, none of that stuff. It's just really, I grew up, with Marvel in the 70s, with Killdozer and all those retarded books they were coming out with. And Kirby, John Buscema, John Romita, Gil Kane, and Gene Colan. The guys they won't invite to conventions anymore. I don't know what happened to those.
Yeah. Good guys with style.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Some people get a little caught up in nostalgia a little too much. I was talking this other day with a friend of mine about, the whole Steve Rude, Bruce Timm thing that they do, where they do their riffs on these guys, but then finally, after about 5 years, you're like, well, where does the riff stop and where does you draw like him begin?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you're God. I guess Godland's doing really well, and that's a Kirby-esque thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which was surprising that the guy just draws exactly like Kirby and people like it. I'm like, well, why don't they just buy Kirby? No, I mean, I wish him well. Anybody with an indie book that's doing well, I just think it's funny to see a book where the guy draws exactly like Jack Kirby.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
You'll probably see me at a con and spit on me now.
Well, speaking of cons, you are going to be at New York Comic Con, correct?
I'm coming to New York,
awesome.
And hopefully it'll be a good con. I did the show they had a con at the Javits Center about 10 years ago, and it was a really good show. And then since then they've had a lot of the smaller ones, and I've gone to a bunch of those. But they're good. But it's nice to see that they're trying to have a show in a big convention center.
Sure.
And the Javits is a big convention center.
Let's hope they fill it.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting. The only thing I think it's got working against it might be because it's in February. And the winters in New York are like, brutal. Yeah. I mean, it's like The Exorcist outside.
Perfect setting for your book.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, I've got, I guess.
Well, look, we are running out of time just for this episode, but we want to thank you for coming on.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for having me on. Anything you guys need,
no problem.
In the way of any, swag or anything I could do to bribe you, tell your friends to tell the 2 people that read Atomica to buy it. I appreciate it.
And what we'll do is we'll have you back on closer to the convention so we can see where the book is by that time and just get an update.
Yeah.
Sounds
good.
Cool. Thank you for giving us your
thanks
time.
Again.
Yeah. Take care.
I really appreciate it.
Sure.
All right.
Bye.
All right.
All right.
He was fun.
Yeah, he's a good guy to talk to. I wish we could talk to him more, and we will. We'll talk to him more later.
Yeah, I mean the art style. He's right. It isn't like your typical art style, but it's very. I mean, it's kind of art style that grows on you as you read it, and I really liked it. I wanted to compare it to almost Sandman, but I was kind of didn't want to because, and not Sandman as a whole, but Sandman when he would do his like fable stuff and the folklore. And I know we're running out of time, but just go out and if you trust anything that I've said before, just trust me on this one. Give it a shot, and it takes more than one issue to really get into it. By the middle of the second issue, I really was digging what he was doing, and by the time I got done with number 4, I want number 5. So.
The one story you mentioned in the email that I got to hear about is you said there was a porn star cat fight at WonderCon?
Yeah.
Oh, now you're talking.
Well, it's one of the few. Normally at cons when you hear a commotion, it's because Wizard's giving away a keychain or something. Those guys that'll light themselves on fire for a keychain at Wizard or something. Drink their own vomit for a T-shirt or whatever. But there's like a big commotion, and I guess somebody in Artist Alley brought his mistress to the con, who was a porn star, and his wife found out, and he showed up at the con, and it was like a brawl. And I kid you not. And then one of them pulled like a comb and tried to stab her with it, and it was like a big melee. So
WonderCon is happening.
Yeah, no, and it was like these two Filipino women beating the crap out of each other, right there in Artist Alley, and they had to finally drag one of them out of there.
There weren't any accidental nip slips, were there?
No, there wasn't any, there wasn't a lot of, clothes being torn off. But, it got good because they were swearing at each other in Filipino. There were 2 Filipino ladies. And it got good. It was like Full Metal Jacket.
That wasn't listed on WonderCon's program, I bet.
It will be next year.
Yeah.
It was one of the few times that, you saw something that was like, oh, it wasn't the the Boba Fett guy who it wasn't the lactating guy in the spandex this time.
The overweight Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's like you guys got a family show, or I'd get into a little more descriptions, but I'll leave it alone.
Did you have front row seats, or did you have to
No,
finagle
well, it got loud quick, and then again, I thought normally when there's a commotion, it's usually because the guy that plays Uncle Owen is there or something, and this was just like I caught the tail end of it when like a rumor started real fast that one of them had a gun. Yeah, it was good. And I don't know who started it. It might have been me, but Artist Alley kind of cleared out real fast. So it was good.
When you scream gun, that usually
happens.
happens.
Gun at it. When there's Vulcans and Klingons around, you don't want to yell gun.
I think you just guaranteed about like 100 people coming to your booth in New York.
No, it was just every once in a while you're gonna get something at a con that you're like for 50 every 50 you do that are duds, there's one where it's a good one.
That's great.
One of the first cons I was at, I saw Rob Liefeld get the crap kicked out of him, and that was worth it.
Whoa. Back up.
Yeah. What are the specifics on that one?
Well, it was San Diego about 10 years ago. And he was drunk, and the other guy was drunk, and I think one of the guys that was drunk he owed money to, and just beat the crap out of him at a pool hall.
Allegedly, right?
Yeah, no, he did. I saw it. I mean, it was,
No, I saw it. He saw it.
I was there, and I don't think too many people were there. Were trying to break it up, but Rob ran out of it real fast.
Boy. It's like scandalous.
We need to have you on after every con.
That's terribly exciting play. You know how it is. I mean, they're usually without incident, but every once in a while, you'll get a good one, and that was one of the ones.
Well, I know I'm looking forward to finally meeting you face to face.
Yeah, you guys.
Yeah,
I gotta
totally
tell you, all BS aside, you guys are big out there in California. I had at least a dozen guys come up to me and mention that they'd heard me on the podcast the last time.
Great.
And I was on last time, I think, for about 30 seconds. I was in a coma when you guys called me.
Well, heck, with these stories, man, you're going to get a huge fan
Yeah,
following.
I got some. You guys got to have like an after-hours show. I'll tell you some of the better con stories that I've got.
We'll go out to dinner.
Yeah, we'll have to go jump on a pizza or something, and I'll have to hit you with a few of the ones that involve a little more R-rated stuff.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, you could have that as a feature at your booth, story time with Sal, and then you'll have to buy one issue of Atomica, and then you get to hear the stories.
That's right. Usually it's that's. They come and ask, hey, is it true about such and? I'm like, guys, I could tell you that it really happened because I was there. I don't like to tell stories where they kind of take on lives of their own.
Right.
But if I tell you it happened, it usually meant it's because I got wet, or I got blood on me, or I was there.
Uncle Sal, tell us again about Rob Liefeld getting beat up.
He got smacked, like a $2 hooker. It was like a Tijuana crack whore. He got slapped around. It was. At that point, everybody hated him because he ran out of the business owing so many guys money that they were in line to beat him up.
Oh my God, this is our best episode ever. I think I was my new favorite person.
You just leveled the room.
And he still comes to cons. I still see him at cons.
At Baltimore, he had one hell of a line of people waiting to meet him.
I mean, he has a good following, but he. And I'm telling you, he's a likable dude if you meet him, but it's just he just ran out owing tons of people money, and that's why so many guys in the business, talk trash about him.
Well, you learn something new every day. Cool. Well, we're anxious to meet you now.
Yeah, no, we'll have a good time. You guys seem like the guys that appreciate sophisticated humor.
Yeah, we does.
Well. Like we said, we're going to meet you, and we'll try to. Once we get our schedule of if we want to hit a panel or whatever, we'll try to get it out on an episode of a certain hour that we can hang out at your place. And
there's a few stories that I think your listeners would appreciate.
But we'll be bringing the recording equipment.
Yeah, yeah. And again, it'll be good to meet you guys in person, and
Cool.
You could see I look like as much of a degenerate as I sound.
Good, so do we.
I can't wait to meet you out in New York.
Yep. Yeah, we'll have a good time.
Sounds great.
If you guys, you need bail money or anything, let me know.
We'll keep your cell phone number handy.
You guys sound like the type.
All right. Well, we're going to let you go, and we appreciate everything.
Anything you guys need. Who's your next guest? Like Janet Jameson, or what do you guys got?
No, we're actually just going to do some talking this episode.
Oh, okay. You mean you're going to talk instead of me talking?
Yeah. Once we hear those stories, though, we're going to bring you back.
You're going to. As soon as I hang up, you're like, God, he shut up finally.
No way. I think we might make you a regular guest. You're not kidding.
Cool.
All right, guys. Well, again, thanks for everything. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Sal.
Everybody out there, make sure you crack open your New York Comic-Con program and look for Mercury Comics and Atomica.
Pick up those issues. I have 5 and 6 sitting on my pile to read, and now that I know we're meeting you, I'm going to make sure I finish 5 and 6.
Pile to read. That's nice.
Oh, yeah.
No, because at least you don't live in denial. I live in complete denial. I have those piles that I'm going to read, and it's stuff from college that's still good. Never get to it.
Yeah, we got to do our homework,
Yeah.
All right, Sal.
Okay, Sal.
All right, guys.
Take care. Have a good night.
All right.
And we'll
See you in
talk
a few days.
Yep.
All right. We'll see you in New York.
Bye-bye.
Good.
All right. Stay out of trouble.
Yeah, you too.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So, did you have any interesting stories from New York, or I guess you just did Emerald City?
I did Emerald. Emerald's kind of, how can I put this? Emerald's a nice show, and the guys that run it are cool, but it's like, man, there's just too many hobos in Seattle, man. I'm telling you. There's no more homeless. Where there's homeless, and then there's just hobos. Whatever happened to hobos? Like Boxcar Willie, using a rope as a belt and, cooking beans by the boxcar. That's Seattle, man.
Riding the rails.
You got a lot of druggies walking around. It's like a George Romero movie in Seattle. They're just wandering around, and they're not poor. They're just asking for beer money.
They're waiting for Nirvana to come back.
They're asking for I thought it was like Sasquatch. I thought Steve Austin was going to be chasing Bigfoot around, and it was just a lot of guys asking for beer money.
How much did you get?
You've been to Seattle, right?
No, I've never been there.
No.
Okay, then it's like you got that whole Jeremiah Johnson, we're a woodsman, we don't want to be part of society gang that just kind of hangs around downtown. And they're well-dressed guys. They're well-dressed hobos that just want beer money.
No Starbucks money?
Yeah, I don't know, but again, nice con, great people, a little slow, in terms of not their education, just slow in terms of the traffic, and not as many people as I would have hoped. But I think it's got potential to be a good show in the future. I would do it again, but Sunday was really, really slow. It was like dead.
Was it just a 2-day show?
It was just a 2-day show. Yeah, I went to the Sonics game and got food poisoning, and
Oh, that's fun.
Yes, I was shitting razor blades for the rest of the day. It was nice. I'm sorry. I'll be serious. You ever gotten food poisoning?
Yes.
No, I haven't.
I had it like really. I don't know what I had. I had it really bad, and I think I had to sit on the toilet naked because if I put my pants up, I would stand a chance of crapping my pants. It was not good.
I don't know. I made it through living 2 months in Mexico, and I just got back from 10 days in El Salvador, and I had no problems.
Well, you're like, Rambo's, intestines or something. I don't know what I ate there. One of them Starbucks sausages or something. I was sick as a dog. My ass was like a faucet. It was bad. It was not good. When you're shitting sideways, pretty bad. It was like, when you get those explosions, it was like one of those Galactus Kirby pieces in the toilet. It was not a good thing.
Oh, my God. Sal, this is why everyone loves you.
Well, I got to be careful because I got a couple hate mails from guys that are like, why aren't you more serious? And that's why Atomic is not selling. And I'm like, I don't know, man. What do you want me to do? Go on 60 Minutes? I'm sorry. thought we were just a bunch of guys, talking comics.
Yeah, I think they'll sell more comics with this approach than...
No, you know food poisoning, right? You're Mr. Yeah, you were in El Salvador, so you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think I've just been lucky. I just never got it out. I'm sure my day will come.
Yeah.
Were you puking too?
It was coming out of both ends.
Oh.
Yeah. It was. Like I said, I was shitting tacks. It was bad.
Did you get the shit sweats too?
Oh, no, like I said, I had it so bad that it would come involuntarily, so I had to just stay naked. Because if I put my clothes on, I'd crap my pants. I didn't have enough time to remove the clothes to go. You needed to leave them off, or it was, not going to happen. I was going to put rubber bands at the end of my pants legs just in case something slipped out.
Oh, Jesus. All right, I think we can move on now.
All right. Hey, you keep asking. I'll keep telling you.
Oh, my God.
So aside from any Atomica-related artwork, do you own, in your personal collection, any original Alex Ross pieces?
Yeah. Well, I'm actually, and this is going to get me in trouble, I'm actually Captain Marvel. He used me as the model for Captain Marvel.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in Kingdom Come and in Power of Hope and all that. I was his photo reference guy. He uses a lot of photographs. He takes photographs. We knew each other from way back, like from advertising. And so, I knew him from when he was pitching Marvels. And then when Marvels exploded, he became Alex Ross with capital letters. And I was still cutting limes at the bar. So, he always meets guys, and he goes, "Hey, man, you look like Captain Marvel." And he's like, "What do you think of Captain Marvel?" And I go, "Well, it's the gayest costume I've ever seen." Little did I think I was ever going to have to wear that damn thing.
Now, those are pictures I want to see.
Yeah, well, it's a good thing. I'm not complaining, but you get some, those Fletcher collectors that come up and got a little bit of a man crush on Captain Marvel too much. That gets scary once in a while. I want you to say Shazam and all that stuff. So I started doing that, and to answer your question though, he gave me, a couple of Kingdom Come pages as a thank you for doing that, and going to cons over the years, I bought some stuff. I bought a lot of stuff.
That's cool. I really like his penciled stuff. We only ever see all his painted stuff, and I really like those pencil stuff that you see from time to time.
Well, I told him about you guys, and I was trying to get him to come on the show, but he's like, you probably told him bad things about me, and I'm like, no, I didn't really, So he's afraid he's going to get on the show, and you guys are going to ambush him about all the terrible things I said about him.
You haven't told us anything about
I haven't told. Okay, good, because I need my job still. It works out better that way.
Hey, Sal.
Yes.
Hey, there he is.
How you doing, guys?
How you doing?
Great, Sal. How are you?
Sal.
Everybody made it back in one piece?
Semi-awake.
Eventually, yeah.
Yeah.
How was your trip back?
It was bad, man. I made the mistake of letting a Buzz and a couple guys stay in my room last night, and I slept about a half an hour the whole night, and it's like, I'm sorry for introducing Buzz to you guys. It was like when they gave the Indians blankets with the plague on them. Not a good thing. It's a bad influence. That yellow bastard's a bad influence.
That's Sal Abbinanti of Atomica Comics.
Since the new version.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'll be serious.
So, let's get the business out of the way.
I love Buzz. I'm just kidding.
So how was how was the convention for you?
It was good, man. We went through between like 300 and 400 books. It was a good show.
Good, excellent.
Yeah, we usually Philly's usually a good show. I usually jump between Philly or Charlotte, but I just been sticking with Philly lately.
That's cool.
It's a little rough because it's close to Mocha, but good show, great town. It's like Chicago, blue collar town, good food, nice people. Big asses, though, in Philly. Is it just me, or is there just like a lot of healthy asses in that town?
It's all the dairy products. That's the whole thing. Goes right to the
and
ass.
this is coming from a guy who the kids use my ass as a bicycle rack any chance they get. It's okay. There's just some healthy asses in that city, man. Like the Liberty Bell with the crack in it is kind of a symbolic, thing like an ant to me when I see it.
Who was it who wanted to go see the Liberty Bell? We should have just sent him over to the Sal's booth.
I got guys on Sunday that just wouldn't leave the booth, that were just kind of a little strange. And you got to, you're nice to everybody, but sometimes you really got to kind of, you got to get the guy from Wild Kingdom to get the tranquilizer gun to get rid of him.
You got to call Steve over and have him move along.
I had a few. It was a 2-gallon ass juice day on Sunday. They had that damn costume contest, man, with the 400-pound Spider-Man with psoriasis. It was not pretty. Yeah, and it's like if you're not gonna shave your bush, you really shouldn't put on that spandex that's cut that close if you're a girl. Because this one girl could grow tomatoes. I swear to God, it was rough.
Earmuffs.
I mean, she was smuggling Brillo pads, man, when she walked by my booth. Because when I'm sitting down, I'm eye level with that shit, and it's rough. I mean, it's like, holy shit. It's that American cheese slices in the plastic, the separate slices, the individual slices when they walk by. Yeah.
I think we just lost about 1,000 people. Just turned off their iPod.
But, it gets summertime, man. You gotta clean between the pillows once in a while. You got change between the pillows. You got to vacuum.
You got to stick that vacuum down there once in a while.
You gotta, nothing one of those little huggy wipes won't take care of. I keep those things,
They're handy.
Conventions are not all pretty, right?
You sit for 9 hours, man. It gets rough. It's like a terrarium down there after a while. Start growing mushrooms and shit.
A whole subculture.
So Buzz goes, listen, and for those of you that don't know Buzz, it's just he's the second coming of Fu Manchu and like Kang from those old Conan books. It's the long nails, and he's very intimidating, and he's just you won't find a more talented guy. But, he snores like someone's choking him. And so he sleeps on my floor like a monk, and he uses a brick for a pillow and like a 2x4 to put his feet. And I got maybe 30 minutes sleep the whole night. Yeah, he starts chanting in his sleep and burning incense, and it gets rough. It gets crazy. It's like Grasshopper was in my room.
We want to thank you for coming out to dinner with us on Saturday night. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, man. Thanks for having me. I mean, you gotta let me return the favor at San Diego because, it's nice. I mean, it's like good conversation, and it's like I get tons of stuff, people that you gotta it becomes a cliche. Hey, let's have dinner. Let's this and that. But I mean, good conversation doesn't grow on trees at these things. You get at the wrong end of the table, and you just want to saw your own head off. You get with the wrong group of guys. It's just, and you get off of Boba Fett, and there's nothing to talk about. At least with you guys, we could talk about, whatever.
Thank God I didn't bring up that Boba Fett story.
Yeah, it's just, you get with it's not the people you go with, it's they bring people. Like you'll agree to go have dinner. So yeah, let's go have dinner, and then you go to the lobby, and it's like you go down there, and it's like the Osmonds are waiting to have dinner, and you're like, oh my God, who are all these people? And now I'm stuck at the end of the table with 20 guys I don't know, and so you're like, okay, well, what do you do? And they're like, well, nothing. And you in the comics? No. Okay, great. Now I'm having dinner with 5 total strangers. So it's cool when you can get together with a bunch of guys and everybody's sick and twisted, and the way you guys are. You all need psychiatric help the way I do, so it's good.
We blend right in.
Yep.
We could share our meds, that kind of thing.
Swap 'em.
Pass the meds.
But now, what you guys were set up, what was your angle of it? I mean,
It was good.
Yeah.
setting up. I mean, was this was the second show you guys set up, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
After New York.
Yeah, well, we did Pittsburgh, too.
Okay, so the third one. All right, so you guys are getting more of the, it's a different angle when you're sitting, you're stationary for a while.
Yeah, I mean, luckily there's 6 of us, so we can take turns and rotate and stuff like that. But yeah, for us, it's just all about meeting the listeners and,
right,
thanking them for being part of the show. That's pretty much our whole
goal. They're all very cool, man. You guys got some, you got some good guys that listen, that chime in but you guys haven't had your Artist Alley small press area experiences yet when they put you next to the wrong types.
Yeah, we've been very fortunate in that way. We've had a lot of good people.
I won't do small press anymore because my last small press was WonderCon when they put me next to like the guys that sell the swords and the whatever. It's just they put ye old in front of everything and they call it like a Renaissance thing. And I had the 400-pound lady with the chainmail on breastfeeding the kid. Yeah, it was just all kinds of bad.
Ye old eyesore.
It was really, really bad.
Did you say ye old eyesore?
Yeah, it was like Joe Quesada feeding breastfeeding right next to me. She had the build of Joe Quesada. It was not a good scene. And I'm like, look, lady, and I said, hey, lady, look, I'm sorry, but I'm not squeamish, but you really got to feed that kid in front of me? And she says, oh, my God, what's your problem? It's natural and it's this and that. And I said, yeah, so's whacking off. I don't do it at my booth. I couldn't tell which was where her tit ended and her stomach started. I was like, I couldn't tell what was what,
we would like to interview Joe Quesada someday. So,
oh, shit. Well, I'll never work for Marvel, so don't worry about it.
On the phone, we have Uncle Sal and Cousin Buzz.
Oh, now, Buzz, it's Sunday. Shouldn't you be dropping off laundry, or what's going on?
No, I try, but apparently if there's no tiki, there's no water.
Okay, that's right. That's right.
Try to get that was the ancient Chinese secret, Calgon.
Well, did you guys have any interesting stories from the last couple cons? Because we've seen you everywhere.
I need to lose weight.
That's the same story for the past 3 years.
Listen, I'm very sensitive feelings, and it's like if you're gonna constantly insult my weight and my hairy pair of man tits, I'm not going to go on any further. But I was at San Diego and I was getting out of the shower. I know this gives a visual for Buzz. Yeah. And I had a really sharp pain in my chest. So I says, it's like, Jesus Christ, what's going on? And then I realized I was standing on one of my tits. So I says, man, it's time for me to lose some weight. No, come on, guys. You know me. I'm just like a beacon of sensitivity. What are you talking about? I just had more of your listeners busting my balls about my suit at San Diego.
Well, I have to say...
I don't know if they expected me to have an organ grinder with a monkey or what I was supposed to have when I was there. But
Hey, come on now. Let's not talk about Angel Medina like that.
Hey, you said it. I didn't say it. Angel.
Come on.
Angel's the sweetest guy I know.
Yeah.
He's small, but he's the sweetest guy I know. He gets caught in spider webs from time to time.
I like Angel. I'm nuts over him. Literally, he's that tall.
Angel's got to get a stepladder to blow Buzz. All right, I'm sorry. I'll be serious.
There's another one.
I was keeping it under the PG, and now the next time I see Angel, he's going to have to go on about how I said he blew somebody. That's great.
Again, yeah. I know.
Again. I don't want to. I shouldn't make fun of his hobbies.
How did you guys meet? Where did you actually meet each other?
I used to work at a takeout place called Golden Wa, south side of Chicago, and Sal was a big fan of Chinese food.
No, it was a one ad. Cotton Fox 250. And they deliver.
Except it was more like me so honey, me love you sometime.
No, it was a Burma special on a Friday night one time. I only had about $18.
No, actually,
I was working. What you were working? You were working. He was working at Harris.
I was doing Vampirella at the time. I met up with Alex Ross at the Heroes Con in '94, I believe, and we struck up a conversation and became friends. And he was telling me about this gathering of artists on Thursdays in Chicago, where they used to get together and play volleyball, and then they all hang out at this bar. And there was like a sort of like a brotherhood, like a brethren of artists with no egos.
It was more like a daisy chain.
Yeah, pretty much. So I went to Chicago Con, missed my flight, called up Alex and crashed on his couch for a day or two, and then I started coming back. I started meeting everybody on Thursday. I mean, I was flying in from New York at least 2-3 times a month, like on Thursdays, just to go and hang out with the artists, because there was nothing like that in New York. You know, all these artists that live in New York, all have egos, and they're all very cliquish, and they're all part of either one crew or the other, and kind of a pain in the asses, you know. So anyway, I became friends with Angel Medina, and he was telling me, hey, you got to meet this guy named Sal. He's trying to break into the business and whatever, and you kind of have a
still trying.
Yeah. So
Nothing's changed.
See if you can check out his artwork, because I think your sort of taste in art kind of have a broader horizon. Maybe you can help him out. Now, this is what he told me. I hadn't met Sal. I don't know what he looked like, but from what Sal told me, that it was like about 4 in the morning. He was
4 in the morning. Regardless of any bullshit he tries to tell you in the PC level, I was sitting in a restaurant at 4 in the morning with
Angel. Yeah.
With Angel?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell because he's sure he doesn't sit high enough on the seat. Unless you get a Yellow Pages, his feet don't touch the floor.
Can you get him a booster seat?
This guy just comes and just like knocks me out of the way on the booth, moves out of the way, starts eating my food at the booth. So I'm like, well, who the fuck is this guy? But he seemed nice enough, and we were shooting the shit. And then the next day, the guy that ran the comic store that we used to hang out at goes, hey, Sal, you really need to talk to this guy, Buzz, because he's doing, for the New York show. At that time, it was at the Javits. They had a big show in New York, and so I said, yeah, okay. He's like, you really should meet this guy, because he's like the hot new thing in comics. So sure enough, I meet him, and it was the same pain in the ass that sat down at my booth at 4 in the morning.
That wasn't even that. It was before that was the wake-up call, remember? Yeah, I called Sal the next morning. Mind you, we were up till 4 or 5 in the morning, drinking, partying. I called him up like 9. And he picked up the phone. He's like, "Who is it?" I go, "Hey, you guinea bastard!
Right. And
you want to go to New York?"
Yeah, you want to come to New York? And so I was just like, "Oh, he's calling me guinea bastard." And normally nobody calls me until at least 9:30. So we just, we hooked up, and then I went to New York, and Buzz, showed me around and took me up to Marvel, and they handed me my ass and said I was crazy. And he took me up to D.C., and they handed me my ass and said I was crazy again. My work was just like a car wreck, and it went from there. We started hanging out at cons.
I took him, and then I had a friend take him to the West Village, and they kept his ass.
Yeah. Because Buzz in those days would be around, and then he would disappear. He was like a vampire. He would disappear for 2 days, and then he would come back. And, based on the amount of tampons he had hanging on his belt, I knew there was something going on.
I have no rebuttal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't think they were going to let you promote your art and all your artistic values unless I told the Buzz San Diego story, didn't you?
The Naked 96.
The Naked 96, we like to affectionately call it.
You get naked once that I remember at a show, and jump an artist buck naked in the hallway.
But the only thing I learned from it is that Asian guys really don't have a lot of pubes.
So he doesn't have a ponytail down there?
No, he really doesn't have a lot of pubes. I guess for martial arts, it makes you more svelty, There's less rubbing.
Resistance.
There's less friction, yeah. It's more like
more aerodynamic that way.
Like swimmers shave their legs. Asians don't have any hair because Now, if you guys got time, I'll tell you the Naked Buzz story.
I gotta hear it.
We got time. The underwear in the tree.
You got. This was what, 10 years ago, right, Bud?
96, yeah.
96. So we're staying like Spanky and the R Gang. We're staying at the DoubleTree, and there's got to be at least 12 of us, staying there.
Right.
And you couldn't get a bigger collection of jagoffs if you really went out of central casting. It was just a bunch of guys who had Buzz was the only one working, and everybody else was just hanging out. So this was the year that Alex was still big for Kingdom Come. So he goes, hey man, I'm going to be at San Diego. Why don't we have dinner, or why don't you come to this party with me? And anybody who doesn't know Alex doesn't drink, and Alex doesn't like to get crazy and howl at the moon and do that kind of stuff. He's just a real straight-laced guy. So he goes, hey, why don't you come to the graffiti party with me? There's free booze. Now I didn't have I was 30 cents short of a quarter in those days. So you tell me free booze, let's go.
I'm there, yeah.
So I leave this maniac with these other guys, which is basically like leaving them with a bunch of Boy Scouts.
Now, at this point, what he's forgotten to tell you, because he's jumping in the middle, the first half of the story was, I was staying at the Hyatt. They were all staying at the DoubleTree. So I was staying at the Hyatt, and I went up to the Hyatt bar. I got really, really drunk. It's so much so that on the way down, then Karen was there. His then, this is his wife now. Then, they were just friends. And I remember in the lobby, some guy whistled at her, and I tried to start a fight with him. So Sal and Ken, who's Karen's brother, decided, hey, we should keep our eye on him. So they put me in a cab and took me to their hotel at DoubleTree to make sure, keep their eye on me. I still think I'm at Hyatt, so I didn't know I was at DoubleTree. So. Yeah, so that's where, Sal comes in with his party story. He leaves me there with these guys to, keep an eye on me.
No, I didn't, he left because there was, depending on which part of the evening, there were this variety of whores that he was chasing around. So he's, got a one tit in his mouth and another tit in one hand and another, just fur burgers everywhere. So I'm just like, okay, guys, watch this guy is what I'm basically. It's like Juggernaut. Don't let him out. Don't open the fucking door. Just and they're looking at me like, we can't watch Buzz because he's more like a force of nature than it is like a human being. So I go to this party and I do things that lots of, Alex doesn't like to do, like have fun and get drunk. So I come back and I'm all, in a good mood, and I walk into the lobby, and I should have known to turn around when I got off the elevator, and there was a pair of underwear on the plant right by, right when the doors open, I see a pair of underwear. And they're like, it's the old movie posters from Fists of Fury, and I go, God, who's got Fist of Fury underwear? So I start walking down the hallway, and I see a whole crowd of people at San Diego PD in the hallway, and I go, wow, somebody's having a good time. Someone's having a party. And, I keep walking, and I go, shit, and someone's having a party right next to my room. And I get a little further, and I go, shit, those cops are in my room. So I walk in, and there's a naked Asian guy laying on the floor with handcuffs on. And his name is spelled just like Buzz's. I'm like, fuck, it is Buzz. That guy looks just like Buzz. Oh, wait, that is Buzz. So San Diego PD pulls me aside and goes, I go, guys, what happened? I'm playing, at this point, I'm playing Barney Fife. I'm going, guys, I don't know what's going on. And everybody's packing. Packing their bags. We got to get out. So I asked the cop, I go, what the hell happened? They go, this guy, pointing at Buzz, without the guy without the pubes, got drunk, no shock, took his clothes off, and was running around the hotel knocking on all the doors. Because he was looking for the swimming pool.
Yeah, I thought I was still at the Hyatt.
I thought he was still at the Hyatt. Then he does go swimming, and he doesn't realize that the pool at the DoubleTree has windows in it that lead to the bar that's in the hotel. Oh. So this asshole's in the pool naked, swimming, and his balls are showing in the bar window. Gets up, continues to run around, pounding on all the doors, bear hugs Tim Bradstreet naked.
I don't think Tim ever got the stains out of his jacket
or his pants.
And so the cops go, you guys got to all get the hell out of here because he disturbed the entire hotel. So I said, guys, he'll behave himself. I promise you. He's passed out. What's he going to do? You know, he's like Bruce Banner now. He's just normal again. He's not the crazy Asian Hulk. He's just a normal guy now, with long hair and bracelets and all kinds of jewelry on, and he's minus his underwear. And so finally, I go, guys, he's not going to go anywhere. They let us stay at the hotel. He wakes up the next morning, and it's just a checklist of all the shit that he broke. Who broke the mirror? You did, Bob.
Oh, yeah. Every question I asked, answer was you. Because I didn't remember anything. I was like, wait a minute, who took my clothes off? You did.
Right.
Who broke the mirror in the bathroom? You did. Who got
the maid pregnant? Who got the fat Jamaican maid pregnant? You did.
You did. I did it all in one night. Yeah.
Right. He never told me he was sorry. Never. I had to explain to the cops that I made up some bullshit story. He's mad ever since Hiroshima. He never got over it, when they canceled Kung Fu. And the Kung Fu story he bought. He said, okay, Bruce Lee really should have been Kung Fu. That's why Buzz ran around the hotel naked. And the DoubleTree never let us back. So.
No.
Well, it's a good thing you both have grown out of that phase, right?
Yeah.
Oh, who says we've grown out of that? We just stay in better hotels, that's all.
Yeah, the same. I shared a room with Simone this year. And probably, this is a guy that, he changed his underwear every day, only he would put the old underwear on that he put on the day before. He had 4 pair of underwear for like a 2-week trip.
Now, he's talking about Simone Bianchi, this hot new young gun over at Marvel. He did Signing Night with DC, and he's a great artist. Yeah.
And I let him stay with me, but it's just one of those deals where I'm like, Simone, I don't ask a lot, but you really got to wash your ass and do it. He walks around with Speedos on, and it's just he doesn't get that. You got to really wash your ass. I don't know if it's a cultural thing or what, but
you know what? It's only him, because I hung out with the other 2 guineas, and they were pretty hygienically sound, except for Simone. And they talk about Simone as that guy's a stinky bastard.
Yeah, no, yeah. He's got that odor, man. Where I'm like, Simone, listen, I'm your friend and all this, but we really got to give you one of them Silkwood showers where we just hold you down. Dump your ass and
throw a powder at him.
You know what you need to get? You need to get one of those artificial Christmas tree branches and just scrub his ass. Is what you need to do. I mean, just hold him down with a Linko, ammonia that my grandma used to use to wash the basement floor with.
You need those hoses that break up riots,
You gotta get a fire hose.
With the German Shepherds.
Yeah, throw them in one of those defunct tanks they use at Brookfield Zoo for the gorillas. Because I'm sharing a room with them, and I'm like, Simone, it's like a fucking parakeet store in here. It's bad. Yeah, how's the baby?
The baby's okay, it's a baby.
Yeah.
She keeps us, busy. She's actually she's a terrible, terrible baby.
Yeah?
Yeah, if she's awake, she cries, and then...
There's something about baby shit, man, I'm telling you. I got a zillion nephews, and there's something that happens between the mouth and the ass when a baby shits. I don't know what it is, man, but they should drop those things in Afghanistan. They'll come out with their hands up. You drop a diaper pail. It's just, there's something about that. All that strained food, you feed them.
I don't know. I have not been relegated to diaper duty yet.
You're not on the... Well, my wife and I were trying, whatever that means. When they say, well, we're officially trying, I don't know the difference. I don't know. I just tell her, just do whatever it is you got to do, and one day I'll see something run across the floor, and I'll go, hey, when did we have a kid? That kind of thing.
You'll know the difference when after you've been trying for X number of months and nothing's happening, and she starts to get crazy, because then she'll rape you, and then you'll know the difference between trying.
No, I get all these. I got this list. You got to wear a certain kind of underwear, which I don't have a problem, because there's really, I'm getting to the point where I'm going to have to start wearing muumuus anyway. So I got that going on, and then they tell you, well, you got to do this, and then she starts breaking into my hobbies, which she says is no masturbating. So I said, well, that's not a good thing. That's on my resume. My favorite part of masturbation is the cuddling afterwards.
Right.
Were you planning a family, or were you guys just got drunk at a Leonard Skinner concert?
No. It was an encore Freebird. We couldn't contain
Molly
ourselves.
Hatchet, or
No, it was planned.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why, but it was planned.
I don't know. I mean, because my wife, women. It's like they work at levels that Doc Doom and Red Skull only fantasize about. They're like arch criminals. They think of they've got it all laid out in a way that it's like walking in a dark room and tripping over a guillotine. By the time you hear that sound, it's too late. She's already got us. We've been looking for, because when you get married, you got two of everything, except the ability to make decisions for yourself. That goes away. But I have my place in the city, and she has her place out in the suburbs. So we're looking for one place for the both of us. And so what happens is, it turns into, well, is this a good school district? And I'm with that. They start asking the real estate people, and I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? They're thinking when the kid is already old enough to go to school. Me, I worry about what I'm going to eat today. That's it. That's as far as I'm premeditated. She's hanging around with Kang and Ultron, worrying about where the kid's going to go to school.
So she's like the Enchantress, I guess.
Yeah, no, much worse. This is those. She's one of those women. When you get married, they're those 4-issue villains. Where oh shit, we're gonna have to go get somebody to help us. Like, I wonder if Surfer's doing anything. That kind of thing. They're dangerous.
There's got to be a team up somewhere along the line to take care
they're
of her.
very, very dangerous. You got to be careful. When you decide to get married, you better be ready for. You better be ready to put the gloves on every once in a while. I just go with the flow. It's like I got the built-in excuse now. Oh well, we got to work.
Oh darn! We have to have sex again? Oh come on!
Yeah, right.
You'd be surprised.
I love when they put you on a schedule.
Yeah.
Like, well, listen, what happened to just those accidental pregnancies? Well, what happened to all that stuff?
Right.
All those warnings I used to get in high school. Now they got to put you on a schedule. You got to keep your balls a certain temperature. Forget about it.
It's so true.
Yeah. What this is? These are the 2 days that we're supposed to. And I'm like, well, I'm not real good at schedules. That's why it took me, 12 years to get out of high school. It's like, no, it doesn't work like that. Second period, your balls need to be 62 degrees. Listen, let me take care of the temperature of my balls and leave me alone. I mean, once you hit, you guys aren't there yet, but you'll see once you hit 40, your balls look like the chin of an old Chinaman anyway. So all that sex talk and all that don't work. That doesn't cut it anymore. You just kind of know. You meet in the middle and say, okay, listen, I got to, basically, it works more as like it's a sedative at this point. I just try to find, there's no space between an orgasm and a snore in my life. The same sound I make to come is a snore, because I'm just right into snoring right away. It's like this. It's like this. Oh. Out. That's it. And I mean out like Janis Joplin out. Not out like just like, what? Well, what happened? Out like, you wake up the next day and it's spring. I wake up and Charlton Heston's in my yard on a horse with apes chasing him. That's how long I've been asleep.
Oh lordy!
When you're younger, you're working on technique, and now when you get married, you're like the one man band. You got to squeeze this, grab that, rub this, foot here, finger here, arm here. Rub this with your elbow. You're like, Jesus Christ, what happened? Like building a fucking model airplane. Between cons, marriage, and working on a book, it's I'm gonna have to get one of those patches, instead of the nicotine patch. I'm gonna have to get the vagina patch.
Gotta hook me up with one of those patches
the
too.
pussy patch, put it over my eye, you know, like a pirate or something.
Talk about $1 trillion product.
Yeah, right. Because something's got to give,
License
and, you
to
know.
print money.
Something's got to give. And you just moved into a new place.
Oh, man. Guys, I'm like in the witness protection program out here. It's terrible.
Were you actually
I'm not used to the suburbs, man. I grew up in the city, and, you know, my wife's like, well, we got to move into a good school area. So I'm like, you know, I'm living out here and, you know, with the people that say hello everywhere you go, and everybody's got the same haircut and the same dogs, and it's strange for me. You know?
Same haircuts on the dogs.
Everybody looks alike in the suburbs, you know. Everybody's just good morning, and they say hello, and they, you know, I'm just not used to it. You know, they pull me over all the time, you know.
Excuse me, sir, what are you doing in this neighborhood?
You know, out after 11 o'clock in the suburbs, that whole thing.
Why did you say that your wife said you need to be in a new school system, a good school system?
Well, I went to Chicago public schools, which is like a Turkish prison. It's like Midnight Express. So she wanted to be out here in the burbs where, you know, the kids get a better education, that kind of thing.
Whose kids?
They're working.
We're talking about having kids, and, you know, that we're working on it, that whole thing.
That's why the books are late. He's working on it.
Hey, it's the pussy patch and working on the kids.
Is she coming out to New York with you?
No. That's my number one rule, and I want to go on record for every creator you have or don't have on the list. It's my rule, which is never bring wives and girlfriends to cons. Because it's like Cosa Nostra. That's our thing, man. Don't get into our thing. You know? When you bring wives and girlfriends to cons, there's only three types. I told you before, there's only three types of women that go to cons.
Right.
Those that are into it, which, you know, what percentage of that do you got? Those that are there really just to spy on their husbands, they really don't give a shit. You know, they really could care less about what's going on. They really want, you know. And those that are just out of their fucking mind.
I think we met a few of those.
Right. So every time I've tried to bring my wife or when she was, you know, my girlfriend to the con, and they give you that bullshit of, oh, no, really, I want to support what you're doing, and I want to see this, and I really enjoy. They give you that bullshit for 20 minutes, and then they start exhaling a lot, and then you wind up having to babysit and apologize for something you really shouldn't apologize for. So I just tell guys, don't bring wives and girlfriends to cons, please. Don't do it. You know, and if I offend anybody, you know, too fucking bad. No, because they complain to me. They won't complain to their wife, you know, and then when you say, hey, do you want to go out to dinner tonight or go out drinking, they kind of have that look on their face like they're blinking something in Morse code, you know, like they're in a Cambodian prison camp. And you're just like, well, I told you not to, you know, I get in the 40-minute fight is worth the 3 days of freedom, of serenity. To just fight for 40 minutes about you're not coming, and, you know, and then you go and you just take care of business and you come home and, you know.
You know what?
As usual, yeah.
I got to tell you, my girlfriend's coming along, and her birthday's Saturday, and I've been thinking, I got to get her the right gift, because if I get her something wrong and she gets pissed off.
It's been a big dilemma for you.
Oral sex and jewelry.
Yeah, but what jewelry, you know, you don't want to.
Anything in a Tiffany box. It could be a turd. It could be like a fat turd in a Tiffany box, and it works for my wife, you know. But I had raccoons in my ceiling I just got rid of. That was nice.
You had raccoons in your
fucking believe this? I mean, I move into this house. My wife finds this house, and it's like the gingerbread house at Disneyland. You know, it's this really nice little suburban house. I'm not used to it, you know, because I live like West Side Story, you know. And we move into the house, and I'm like, the first night I'm walking around the house like the guy from Night Gallery. You know, I'm like, I hear noises. I'm telling you, you know, they're coming to get, you know. And so she's like, oh, you're crazy. And then she starts patronizing me. She goes, are they ghosts? Yeah, they're ghosts. Right? So I go, listen, I'm telling you, I hear noises. So finally, about 2 days in, I'm sitting there watching TV, and I hear scratching in the ceiling. So I go, son of a bitch, there's something in the ceiling, you know, in this porch that's above our front windows. So I'm like, all right. So I call the village, you know, and they're like, oh, you got to get a trapper. Trapper. I'm like, what, I don't. So I call this guy up, and he goes,
look around your house. Mind you, this is like the Cast from Deliverance, I call up. So he goes, look around the base of your house for tracks and tell me what you see. I said, buddy, do you know who you're talking to? The only raccoon I've ever seen in my life was at the zoo. Like Pocahontas in the movie, his friend, with the voice from the guy from MASH, is the only raccoon I've ever known in my life. So he goes, well, what type of... And I'm like, I don't see anything. What I see is you got to send out a couple hillbillies to get rid of these things is what I got to see. And he's like, well, they could be in there for a couple of weeks because they can live off their winter fat, and he's giving me the whole North American history of the raccoon. And I'm just like, the guy on Planet of the Apes. I'm like, kill them all. Just get them out of here. I don't give a shit what you do because they keep you up at night because they're nocturnal. They only come out at night. And they're playing their Santana albums, and they're doing all kinds of shit up there. Oye como va at 2:30 in the morning. I'm like, this shit's got to stop. And my wife's like, well, you don't want to be mean. I'm like, well, don't want to be mean. He broke into my house. So I'm like the French Resistance at this point. I'm planting shit and ordering Chinese food, hoping he'll come out to get it by the door. And I'm putting, I'm drawing graffiti from other raccoons by the hole. And he's like, did you find a hole? And I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about. He's like, we got to put a trap where they go in and you put a can in there and all this bullshit. And I'm going, look, buddy, I got to be honest with you. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I grew up where there was not one piece of earth where I grew up that was not paved ground. It was all concrete. I thought we were the white man that, got rid of all these fucking animals. Didn't we just decimate everything? Where did these wild animals come from? Right? I thought the Indians complained that we destroyed everything. Didn't the highways, right? So finally, 2 weeks, I told him, I go, look, I'm reaching the point where I don't give a fuck what you do. You got to go in there with flamethrowers. I don't care. Send in little baby ninja commando raccoons. I don't give a fuck. Just get them out of there. So he puts this trap. And he's like, well, Sal, we got to wait for him to come out. And then when he comes out, he's got to go in and they're very territorial. And once they urinate in there, and then my wife hears that, and she's like, oh, my God, we got to repaint now because there's going to be urine in the ceiling. I'm like, I'm not worried about urine in the ceiling. Trust me. Angel Medina's small enough to go in there. Let me call him. Let me send him in there. Dressed as a raccoon. A female with lipstick, raccoon, and draw him out. I don't give a shit. I don't care. When you get desperate, you start thinking of crazy shit, So I'm like, can't we drill a hole where it's that little fiber optic camera, like in those spy movies, and we shoot gas in there? He's looking at me like, I don't know what you're talking about. So, we live in 2007, and the way to get a raccoon out now is you just got to wait for him to come out. That's what the guy tells me. He can live off his winter fat. I'm like, great. If he's like me, he'll be up there for 5 years. So finally this fucking thing comes out, and I go out to get the paper one morning, and I go, look at this guy. There's this 60-pound looking, it's covered with, mud and, the insulation all over it, and he's just, and I'm like, son of a bitch, it was the ugliest, nastiest thing I've ever seen in my life. And I'm like, get it out of here. He's like, well, what do you want me to do with it? I'm like, I don't care what you do with him. Just get him out of here, Take him away, The Super Bowl's a little bit overkill. People use it as an excuse to, have parties and stuff. But I actually watch the game, which is what pisses me off because, my wife will invite her girlfriends over and they turn it into a Super Bowl party / 1-year-old baby christening and shit like that. I'm like, hey, guys, there's a game on. You're singing happy birthday to a 1-year-old. Their brain isn't attached to their body yet. They don't know what's going on. Can we watch the game, please? And it's bad enough I just got rid of the raccoons. Now I got to sing, to a 1-year-old. I'm singing Happy Birthday, And they're not going to know whether I was here or not. You could set mannequins up, and they'd go, hey, look who's here. And they'd think they had a great party when they were 1.
Speaking of kids, Sal was asking me about Clara earlier today, because he said the last time he talked to you, you were going nuts.
Yeah, it's marginally
Crying
better.
baby?
Yeah, she cries a lot.
Hey, I told you before, that's what happens when you get drunk at a Molly Hatchet concert.
You wind up pregnant with a baby. Oh Lord, these youngins, you gotta bring your references up a little bit, Sal. These youngins aren't catching.
I'm sorry, 38 special.
38 special.
There's a big jump forward.
Oh, 38 special. I'm a lover boy.
Everybody's working for the weekend,
Working for
baby.
the weekend. Turn me loose. My brother used a fog hat reference the other day.
Hey,
Is he a fool for the city?
Hey, you know what?
Christ,
The
fog hat.
hey,
I was like, man, you really got to, that's like one you got to, look back and
Sal.
call Dick Clark and ask him about fog hat.
Sal, I used to work with the wife of the drummer from Foghat.
Jeez.
He lives right here in Berks County.
Kill herself from humiliation, or did she just,
No, she was a wild woman. I think she was a big partier back in the day.
That's for sure, Foghat,
Yeah, they live right behind my aunt and uncle. So.
Okay, hey, I'm sure they're still getting checks for that Foghat Live album.
I don't know. Well, Slow Ride's probably in a lot of commercials.
Well, that's right. Slow Ride. Ooh, God. Sometimes I hear that shit and I go, man, I had that album. Everybody's got that one, that one album that they look back and go, man, I paid money for that album. Shit, What was I thinking when I paid, because my wife is 10 years younger than me, so I'll point stuff out to her sometimes, and she'll go, oh, I was 3. Like, oh, shit. Man, do I feel old. Holy shit. Like, oh, never mind, One of those things where and everybody gets it, at one point in your life, and hopefully but you will scratch your ass in public. That's all I'm going to tell you. And it happened to me this year at San Diego. So bad that I swear to God, guys, I had to go to the doctor at San Diego. Where I checked, and you'll tell anybody because you don't care. You're in so much pain that you're not embarrassed by it. You're like, I don't care. What are they going to do to me? They're going to laugh at me? That's nothing compared to my ass hurting. So I go to the front desk and I go, hey, do you guys got a doctor, an emergency doctor? And she goes, why? What's wrong with you? I go, I don't know, but my ass is killing me. My ass is right now. It's like someone used my ass for a Subway. That's all I can tell you.
I was at the
D train.
It's like somebody jammed a hairbrush in your ass. Is what it feels like.
Jesus.
So I go and she goes, well, she kind of is trying to be serious. She goes, well, do you want to go see him or do you want him to come and see you? And I go, I don't give a shit if he's at his daughter's prom. I got to go. I got to go right now. So they have this guy calls me up, this Pakistani guy calls me up, and he goes, what's wrong with you? And I go, my ass is killing me. That's all I can tell you. He goes, well, when you sit down on a toilet, is there anything hanging out? Oh. And I go, what the fuck are you talking about? He goes, by your asshole, is there anything hanging out? I go, like what? What the fuck are you talking about?
Blow out your O-ring.
Yeah, and I'm like, no, there's nothing hanging out. And he goes, okay, well, then it's something inside. You got to do this, you got to do that. And he calls and he gets me these prescription suppositories. Oh, yeah, that I had no clue what the hell they were. You go pick them up and they look like bullets. They're like little clear bullets. So I think I'm like going after a werewolf when he gives me these things. So I'm sharing rooms with Simone now, mind you. Like I don't have enough misery in my life.
And his one t-shirt.
Right? The pain in the ass references go on forever at this point. So I go pick these things up, and now you got to like sit in the waiting room at like Ralph's Market in San Diego. And then the little Asian lady yells out suppositories for Abbinanti, and everybody over 60 looks like, what's he doing here? So you get back, and then you've got to like self-inserted medicine. You got to take care of these things on your own, which is nice. So So now you start farting, making noises you never knew like could be created on this earth. Because your muscle, it's like a tuba that you stuck a sock in. Is what happens after this. You know what I'm saying? You roll up, it's like rolling up a tortilla and putting it in a flute and then blowing through it. That's what my ass sounds like at this point. Jesus. And now I got to go to the con, and you're trying to, while you're talking, it's like there's shit going, you got like, yeah, okay, guys, hey, I'm good.
It's great. No wonder you seemed like you were so uptight.
Guys, at San Diego, Meryl Streep's got nothing on me, man. That was an Academy Award that I was feeling. Okay. You notice I was never sitting down usually.
Yeah, definitely.
Sitting down is pain,
You should have just told us that. Look, I got problems with my ass. Go away.
Well, and then that's the beautiful part is I finally told my friend Chris. I go, Chris, I got to get out of here. I got to go to the doctor. I can't take this anymore. So he's like, well, go. I'll set up and go. And I go, all right, I'll go and I'll come back. So I'm going, and then we rented a van because we had to go pick up some stuff. We had to go pick up a couple crates, one at the airport, and we had to go pick up some of that furniture that we bought, from like Office Max. So he's in the van. We got this other guy that works for us. So I'm walking right down the gas lamp at like 12 in the afternoon. And I'm walking, mind you now, like I just got raped in prison. Where your knees are together. I'm walking like I'm one of those mules at the airport that's got balloons with heroin shoved. I don't want it to fall out. So I'm walking real slow, and driving by, the one guy thinks he's being, he yells out the window at the top of his lungs, hey, Sal, how's your ass? And I'm like, what do you want me to say at this point? Gwyneth Paltrow, yeah, she named her kid Apple. Fantastic. What am I supposed to say? Gwyneth Paltrow, great. She moved to Europe and she talks shit about the U.S. now. What do you want from me? I give it to her, but that's about it.
It all comes back to that.
You see her in, what is it, Shallow Hal?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Pack a lunch. Sure. Hey.
Be there all night.
Sure. Give it to her in a headlock. You know what I mean?
Would there be a little bit of, what was it, carrying the jack-o'-lantern?
Yeah, stealing the pumpkin.
Stealing the pumpkin, yeah.
And a little Lawrence of Arabia.
Or 99, I call it. You just got your hands over your head,
So you got to look one up. I'm not going to repeat it on the show because it just goes somewhere we don't want. But you got to look up the Angry Dragon, and that's all I'm going to say.
Angry Dragon. I like Dr. Zhivago.
Oh,
That's my favorite one. You just got your hands on your hips is all I'm going to say. No, I mean, those poses don't get numbers and don't get titles, and they should be given titles. I mean, an oral needs a title, needs a number, and it doesn't have one.
I was just telling someone about stealing the pumpkin and the Lawrence of Arabia yesterday. It's so funny you brought it up, yeah.
Lawrence of Arabia is a good pose.
Yeah.
And with the remote in one hand, it's even better.
Or a comic book.
Well, let's not overdo it. With the comic, and then I run into the Twinkie ad right at the time.
The last show I did, all the girls were either engaged or married, except for a few of them.
And one was a lesbian.
And one was a lesbian.
Yeah, but that's okay, because that doubles your chances of, like, threesomes when you go out with lesbians. I went out with I lived with the last... Oh, shit, my wife's in the other room. And I swear to God, all they want to do is make sandwiches. And you're like, look, some of these girls you're bringing home, their asses look like the buttons off a leather coat. I don't want to be anywhere near this shit.
Simone.
Yep.
Okay, we're here.
Okay, so I'm assuming that I'm not gonna have the chance to talk to Sal in person.
Oh yeah. We're gonna bring Sal on in a few minutes here.
Just in a few minutes?
Well, I mean, about 15 minutes?
Yeah, just because we wanted to.
Oh, beautiful! That's beautiful. Okay.
We wanted to make it a surprise. He doesn't know. That
yeah, trust me, it's gonna be a big surprise this time. I'm gonna dump the motherfucker in like. No, I'm kidding. I was shocked because I want to tell you the truth, guy. I worked the whole day as usual, like 10, 11 hours. and I was really tired. And I said, you know what, I'm going to drop Peter an email and let him know that I'm not going to make it. But then I went to the website, and I started listening to the last episode. The number is 222, the last one where Sal was in.
Right.
All right? And then I just heard the whole episode, and almost at the end of the episode, he was talking so much shit about me, about my Speedo and the way I smell at the show. And it was no, I can't believe this. I mean, Sal is like a brother to me. I can't believe he was talking shit like this. And so I had to give him something in return, something really bad.
I don't, we don't know what's going to happen when we get Sal on the phone. So we should let people know, obviously this is Simone Bianchi, and he's currently on Wolverine right now, and your stuff is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, thank you so much.
Hey, Sal.
Going on, guys?
How's your night going so far?
Going okay, man. It's nice to be home.
Yeah, you were away for a while there.
I was gone for 2 of the longest weeks of my life, I got to tell you.
But were they prosperous and fun? And
they were, well, the first one was nice. The New York show, the comic show was cool, but the second one, Art Expo, was terrible. It was kind of a new thing that I decided to try because of taking on way more of these guys than I really got the manpower to handle. And it was just a dry hump. It was terrible. It was awful. And Art Expo is just super expensive, and it's just a lot of, tight asses walking around, and, I felt like Fred Flintstone when they made him king, and he just didn't fit in,
But the con was fun, and Alex Ross.
That was awesome. I mean, I shared rooms with Simone, so that's always a good time,
That's bullshit.
Gotcha.
How the fuck did you manage to get this guy on the phone?
That's bullshit. We didn't share.
Listen.
We didn't share a room at all.
First of all, I want to know a question. How in the fuck did you manage to walk around with a straight face with the 3 Wolverine scars on your forehead? Haircut. How the fuck did that work?
That was great, actually.
We had a good time, man. Me and this guy.
We had a great time.
We had a great time. We really did.
We had a great time, but we didn't share the room at all. You have to be honest about this.
You were in. Well, I didn't share a room because they were my rooms. You shared one of my rooms. How we should put it.
Okay.
But it's the first time that Simone was introduced to running water, so it was a new thing.
Listen, Sal, I kind of, by chance, listened to the last episode you recorded with these guys.
Right.
And I saw you were a friend of mine.
Yeah. I'm not going to say anything because it's just basically about everybody butts and everybody's balls. So what do you want me to say?
No, I thought you were a friend of mine, and I discovered that you were talking the biggest, the worst. You were talking shit on my back, and I'm really disappointed in you so much.
Oh, listen, come on. All of a sudden you're so sensitive. Give me a fucking break. All of a sudden you're so fucking sensitive. Well, this is the guy who shit on my bed, and I'm supposed to feel sorry.
I shit on your bed? I remember you shitting on my pillow when you were in my house in Italy.
You're going to stand there and you're going to tell me with a straight face that you did not sit on my bed and leave a skid mark.
Yes, maybe I did.
You did not get off my bed and leave a lightning bolt on my bed when you got up.
No, that's not bullshit.
So, all right, let's back up. First of all, while I don't know if I should be pissed or disappointed or this was, I feel like the guy in The Godfather who got shot in the head in the restaurant here.
It just was a last minute thing, and who knew if Simone could do it because it's so early over there right now. But
yeah,
we thought it'd be a nice just in case you missed, you were missing him from seeing him in New York.
I miss Simone more every day. You have no idea. Has this guy been on the show like before, and you guys have been listening to his bullshit, or did he just come on and just sabotage me?
He was just on for about 15 minutes before you, and he told us that he listened to the episode. He told us that, honestly, he said that you were the guy that introduced him into all these companies, and then he also told us that you farted on his pillow at his home.
I did probably shit on his pillow. That's probably. Well, you see, my ass is like a tuba, so farting on a pillow is. I just spent 2 weeks in a hotel room with 2 hillbillies from Fremont, Ohio, so I can't be violated any more than I've already been violated. You know, guys, the 2 guys that work with me, Chris and the other guy, Justin.
Uh-huh.
I don't know 2 people who don't have vaginas that are more of a bigger pain in the ass than these guys. Honest to God. I mean, it's just it's a 12-month menstrual cycle with these 2. They're just always on something. So they're from the middle of fucking nowhere. I mean, there's not even a star that represents where they live yet on the American flag. That's how fucked up it is where they live. They're still like in Indian territory is all they call it. So we're in New York City now. We're driving from the Javits Center, and we're going across town, and so this lady kind of walks out into the street, and the cab driver swerves around her, and he almost hits her. So I'm sitting in the back seat, and I'm just like, wow, that must happen to you a lot driving a cab in New York. There's a lot of, I'm trying to make, somewhat intelligent conversation with this guy. Out of the blue, one of these NASA scientists that works for me goes, yeah, the other night on the way home from work, I almost hit a cow. Now, how in the fucking Alan Moore on acid couldn't make a connection between hitting a cow in Fremont, Ohio, to a guy who drives a cab in New York City? He's trying to relate with this guy, right? Like the cab driver's supposed to go, yeah, you and I are like kin now because you almost hit a cow in the middle of nowhere, and I almost hit a lady crossing the street on 42nd Street in Manhattan, Well, I'm looking around. He looks at me at this point thinking that I'm with these guys. Like we just came, like they were having bull riding at the Javits Center, and we just got off work or something.
Oh, my God.
But I don't know, and I just kind of looked at him. I go, you guys really don't realize how fucked up you are, and that nobody gives a shit about that stuff, do you?
Sal, you dropped a bit of news on us at the dinner in New York. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, my wife is going to have a baby in August. We're excited, and I don't know what I'm going to do when it happens, but I'll deal with when it gets here. Now, did Simone tell you when I was in New York, I went to get my wife a purse at Prada.
Oh my God.
On Fifth Avenue, and that was another time I almost shit my pants. I've been to New York so many times now, and every time I come back, I always bring my wife the same shit that I figured I got to bring her something nice because she's going to have the baby. So I'm shopping around looking for something nice, and, the Boba Fett dolls and all that don't cut it anymore. I've given her all the Alex Ross originals I possibly could. Like she doesn't want those, so that doesn't work. And so I says, let me go get her a purse. Let me go get her a real Prada purse, because me, I'm a big shot now. I'll go get her a purse. So maybe I was hanging around Bill Sienkiewicz too long, and some of the bong resin rubbed off. Because when I get up on Fifth Avenue, I go into Prada, and you go in this place, and it's like a Stanley Kubrick movie. There's just all white, and then there's just one purse on a counter. Clockwork Orange when you go into Prada. Yeah. It's a real experience. So I go in, and I'm looking around, and I only got like 4 purses. So I'm playing stupid like I'm a heavy hitter. I'm walking in, and, my Sin City T-shirt didn't give it away too much. Take off. So I go up to the counter, and I'm going, hi, how are you? How you doing? And the guy's like, yeah, hey, how are you? Good. So I says, yeah, how much on that one? So he goes, $36.40. And I thought this was some kind of sick code, or maybe like I went into like a bad acid trip from high school or something. I go, $36.40. Well, it's not $3, and then it's not $360 because there's an extra zero there. So then it just all of a sudden the light went on that it was $4,000 for a purse. And that was the cheap one. You know, they got the other one that's like $6,000 for a purse.
$6,000, yeah.
$6,000. So I thought to myself, I said, Jesus Christ, that's more than my 72 Cutlass that I bought when I was in high school. And that came with the Pioneer Super Tuner with the Journey tape in it. So I said, there's got to be some ass connected to this purse for me to spend that kind of money. No.
Maybe it was coming along with an Alex Ross original piece.
Serious reach around or something for me to go buy a purse for that kind of dough. I mean, it would have to turn into Caligula. He'd have to lock the door, and it would have to turn into, like, you know, some kind of sick, twisted orgy real fast for me to drop that kind of loot. So I just said, you know what, let me bounce it around for a while, and I'll think about it. And I walked out. So, and there's nothing special about it. I mean, there really isn't. I mean, it's a Prada bag. And then it's like, and then I thought to myself, wait a minute, I still got furniture and all this other shit to buy for this little bastard. I can't afford a $4,000 purse right now, you know. My wife's looking at changing tables, whatever the hell those things are.
We'll find out soon.
Got a little changing bag and all that stuff. And I'm like,
changing table?
Changing table is where you lay the kid to change the. My mother just hung us out the window and let the air, you know, let our ass air dry, you know, and now they got a little table for it. I just decided, you know, I'm going to take it easy because we're in like the full gear up for the baby mode now. We're doing the baby thing here, and we've got the, you know, I mean, have you guys ever been to this place called Babies R Us?
Oh, yes, yeah.
This is something out of a fucking Fellini movie, I'm telling you. This is the most unholy place that they can ever. I mean, they're like, you want to talk about where it's like one of those Aztec things where they're like still, you know, cutting the throats of goats and shit and throwing babies into volcanoes. This is not a good place. I mean, my wife, it's the land of the $600 strollers. You know, Hummer makes a stroller, and Jeep makes a stroller.
It's all about the boogaboo.
They got one that looks like the little ship from, you know, Lost in Space, if you want it. It's 2 aisles of nipples. It's just not good.
That don't do much anything.
That don't do anything. Yeah, there's an aisle of diaper dandies where you throw the dirty diapers, and you know, you walk in and it's like a Kubrick thing where there's a giant baby faces everywhere you look. You know, and the lady, you know, there's only one lady at a counter all the way by the door, and it's all white everywhere you look. Everything's white. And you're like, Jesus Christ, what did I get myself
and it's got
involved
that,
with here?
It's got that sickening smell, that baby smell, and oh.
No, and then everything, it's like a big scam because nothing, you buy a crib, it doesn't come with a mattress. And she's like, well, you know, it doesn't come with the bumpers or the lamp or the, you know, the linen. And you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? What's a bumper? You learn these words that they just create for you to, like, get you to buy it. And I'm like, I used to read National Geographic. Did they just wrap the kid in, like, a paper towel and lay him on the floor?
It's all about safety now, Sal.
Is that what it is? And then you got to register, and your wife wants you to sit there with her, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't even know what the fuck any of this is. If there's no eternal back issues on there, I don't know what to tell you to order. If there's no Barely Legal Volume 1 through 12 on there, I can't tell you what to order, you know. Because, you know, a guy named Simone bought the last 6 copies.
How are you dealing with your wife and the transformation that is pregnancy?
Well, the playground's closed, so so it's like, you know, I don't know what that means because shit, I'm gonna get in trouble for that one. So you know, you're like roommates again. You know, which is nice because she doesn't have as much leverage on me as she used to have. You know? She can't run as fast, and she can't use that martial arts shit on me anymore because her stomach's in the way. But it's hard, man. She sleeps a lot. That's all, you know, that's one of the things. And she's getting to where I've registered for Chicago for Artist Alley, you know, for Atomica, and it's the weekend. She's due that weekend. So we got in a huge fight about that. And how could I go to a con the weekend she's having the kid? And I'm like, well, those due dates are like just
They're like that little knob on the toaster that tells you what shade it's going to be. It's not real. It doesn't work. It's bullshit. The due date is like the guy just goes, let's say the middle of August. That sounds good. And so I'm like, I've been going to Chicago Con since the 70s, for Christ's sake. And I'm not going to not go because some sawbone tells me my kid is going to be born that day. So if I'm there and I'm, in Artist Alley, bullshitting in the quarter box and the phone rings, I'll come meet you at the hospital, no big deal. But I'm not going to, stop everything and be like, what am I going to be, like Dick Van Dyke, sleep with my clothes on and all the rest of that shit, or what? Come on. And then, of course, there's the anxiety of no sex. So I'm back to good friends with I know the Korean's first name again at the corner at the video store, so that's good. Hey, listen, you don't masturbate in a while, you lose those skills. There are skills you lose your chops. I was good. I had it down to, when I was younger, 3 a day, and, you rub one out. And now I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing anymore, Because when you're married, you're like, all right, look, there's certain have-tos in my life, like, well, I don't want to do, well, listen, you know what percentage of my life is what I want to do versus what I have to do? Okay, oral is in that category, all right? So I don't feel like it doesn't fit into the frame of my life anymore for either of us. It just happens. That's how it goes. But now when you're pregnant, you got that note from the principal saying you can go home and sit and watch I Love Lucy all day while everybody's at school. So I'm sitting here, and you wake up with a club in your hand every morning because, this little bundle of joy is on the way. So, and I'm like, yeah, okay, great. I understand all that procreation shit. What about me? You become, I'm like Ted Bundy when I drive around. I stop at a light. I'm like, oh, look at her. She's got to be how old? What, about 60? Jesus, look at that.
I tapped that. It's. So you want to know why I sound like an asshole? There you go. I said it. He's why backed I sound up.
like a jagoff? Okay, I'm going to need all of you in the trial. That's all I'm going to say. I'm staying off the subject of my ass this conversation, guys. I always seem to go in that direction, But I did find that at Babies R Us they have the Huggy Wipe warmer, which was interesting.
Yeah. Yes, it's
and
so.
I'm like, okay, so now the kid needs you to warm those Huggy things before you wipe them, huh?
So you
when
don't wake
did
them
this
up.
shit start? I'm like, even like Yul Brynner in the Ten Commandments doesn't have shit like that. I told him, I said, you guys have everything in here except my invention, which is one of those screamer helmets. I want a helmet called the Screamer, which is when they cry, you put it on them. It's like a NASA helmet, and you can't hear them scream.
The cone of silence.
Yeah.
Like those diver's bells.
Yeah. It's like, even better. Yeah, one of them diving helmets. Put him in that, and then shut it, and he's got oxygen, and he's safe. But I need to get some sleep. Reruns of Starsky and Hutch are coming on in a half an hour. I want to watch the fucking thing. I like to party as the next year, but every time I go to the bar, they want to start doing shots, and I'm like, all right, guys. Anybody who's got to get up after 2 in the afternoon, you're out of the picture of giving me a hard time, because most of these guys don't even get up. Like Buzz wasn't even going to the con a lot of days. There's a perfect one for you. He's yelling at me why I'm not partying with him, and I'm like, Buzz, did you go to the con today? He's like, no, we were hanging out at the pool. And I'm like, great. So in other words, you could just sleep whenever. Get up and, watch porn and then, chant and then, go back to the bar. And then you walk by the son of a bitch and he's like, hey, we're doing Patron, we're doing shots of tequila. And I'm like, I haven't fucking used the bathroom today yet because I've been standing there smiling and grinning at all these assholes all day. And then you're when you got a booth, you become like the fucking locker station at Greyhound. Everybody's like, hey, can I leave this here? Can I leave that there? And now it's like, there's people that I like to help out, but when you say yes in front of people you don't like, now you're screwed. Like you guys, perfect example. love to help you out because I know what a colossal pain in the ass it is to carry shit around that con. You know, especially San Diego, which is the worst one to have to lug shit. But then I get, like, my brother-in-law and his wife, and, hey, can we leave our cookie jars back here? And you know, we bought 400 fucking Jar Jar Binks glasses. Can we leave them back here? And I'm like, hey, guys, what is this? You know, it's like I'm not running a soup kitchen back here. I'm tripping over shit and going, what is this? Whose R2-D2 mailbox is this? And they're going, oh, a guy who said he knew you said it was okay. And I'm like, I did? I'm like, the fuck is this? So, you know, then I walk back to the hotel, and when I get out of the con, I got one thing on my mind, food. That's it. I want to eat, because the food at the con, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, the $60 cookie, $22 for a Coke, and, you know, the three transvestites that I run the booth with complain about the food all day, and, you know, me, I'll eat the ass out of a goat when I'm hungry. I don't care, you know. These three fucking Liberace impersonators that I work with, we're going where for lunch? Oh, I don't know. That's a little too... It works. You know, you're like, guys, I just need to eat something here. Well, why does it always have to be a fucking 2-hour discussion? I mean, trying to get lunch at my booth is like picking a child in Cambodia that you're going to adopt. That's how these guys are. And I go, just whatever. A burger, whatever. I'm sending my nephew to get food. And I turn around and I'm like, why are you still here? He's like, because Chris wanted to look at the menu again. He wasn't sure what it was. I'm like, what fucking menu? What are you talking about? This is like high school cafeteria food we're talking about here, you know? I'm like, I just need food. So 8 o'clock runs around, and I've had like a bag of corn nuts and, you know, and like a piece of cotton candy I found on the floor. And, you know, yeah, something I stole from someone left half a hot dog laying on the table. I ate that, you know. I want to go eat. And these guys are like, hey, we want you to come over here and meet this guy. He just came from, I don't know, somewhere, and he's got a book about a Pakistani guy that runs a 7-Eleven. I'm like, exciting, great. Let's fucking go eat, guys. That's all I want to hear when I leave San Diego.
Well, hopefully we get to see you on the convention.
Yeah,
I mean, we'll
I
see
hope
you
you
at
guys
Boca.
can make it out. I mean, I think with all the movie stuff we got this summer, it'll be crazy.
Yeah.
What do we got this summer? We got like 3 superhero movies.
Fantastic Four, Transformers.
Spidey.
What did you guys think of Spidey? I didn't see it, but you can.
I loved it.
Yeah?
Best one yet. Meh. They're all nuts, Sal. Don't listen to them. They're all nuts.
All right.
It's worth that.
I'm still trying to figure out why people are so hot over that Snaggletooth. What's her face? Kirsten Dunst.
Thank you.
No, I mean, it's a bigger stretch that you know, forget about, you know, it's like, what's a higher percentage? Let me see. Okay, a guy getting bit by a spider becomes a superhero. Oh, that's pretty believable. Her working in New York as a model, that's the part I can't fucking wrap my mind around. I mean, come on. That broad looks like every fucking cheesy hillbilly bitch I went to high school with. I'm sorry. She looks like Susie Rottencrotch, that broad that I went to high school. No, I see her, and I'm like, you know. Some broads you see, and you go, man, look at that. This one is not one of those, man, look at that. This one's like, yeah, all right. You know, but no big deal. You know, it's not like one of those ones you see, you go, wow, what a fucking Watusi. You know, like when you watch Telemundo and shit, where you stop and go, fuck. What the fuck is in the water down in Mexico? You flip. And I'm stopping, and I'm watching that Benny Hill-looking guy. And my wife's like, why are you watching Spanish TV? Well, I want the kids to be multilingual, honey. I'm watching Spanish, you know. And you're watching it, and you're going, what the fuck? Everybody's all swollen. And then you flip to Kirsten Dunst, and I'm like, all these guys are killing themselves and doing shit. He's fighting Sandman, worrying about the ring and all the rest of that shit. Take her for coffee. What's the problem? Fuck. This guy, like, you know, this guy's got all these powers of a spider, and he's worried about that skank. Who cares? Listen, you're a superhero. You can pretty much have any ass you want. That's how I look at it. And get away with it. What is she going to do? Where have you been, asshole? It's late. I mean, come on. I'm sorry, honey. I was fighting, what's his face? Kingpin was kicking my ass. I couldn't make it home in time for fucking American Idol. Excuse me. But I see this broad, no tits. She's got a mouth like a bowl of cashews. Those choppers she's got. I mean, she looks like the abominable snowman in Rudolph with those fucking teeth she's got. And she's got it is. She's got teeth like an old graveyard. One goes left, right, up, broken, down. The top jaw is supposed to be over the bottom jaw, not the other way around. You know what I mean? She looks like Iron Giant. That fucking dog.
When I was a lifeguard, 75 pounds ago, when I looked like a human being, my friend used to have parties when his parents would go out of town. So he would have these, just basically a bunch of people, over drinking and destroying his house for a week. And, you're drinking, everybody's getting drunk. And so I hooked up with this one girl that was there, and she was one of these hippie types who would get high with her parents. They were very hippie, they were very liberal types. Her father was like the photographer from Apocalypse Now, that kind of thing. So, we're at a place and we're having a good time and everything's going along. And, it's like, we're in there fooling around, everything's going well. I get up in the middle of the night because I had to piss like a maniac. And we were down in this rec room that she had. So down in the rec room, you got these bathrooms that are the size of phone booths. Like they make them, just a toilet and a half a sink. Right. I'm standing there, and I'm taking a piss, and on top of the toilet is a bowl of these little rose-shaped soaps. And so I'm just plastered at this point. So I start poking at these soaps, and I knock the bowl over. These soaps, and they go all over the floor. So I get down on my hands and knees, and I'm bare-ass naked. I get down on my hands and knees, and I'm picking these soaps up, and a bunch of them went behind the toilet. So I'm reaching way underneath the toilet to pick these things up. Now, mind you, I'm locked in here like a cat, a cow that's going in to get slaughtered at this point. And that little piece of skin between your ass hole and your balls, okay? All of a sudden I feel like a piece of cold bologna licked me right there, and it was this fucking poodle she had. So I jumped 6 feet into the air, only I got a toilet over my head, so I banged my head on the toilet and I knocked myself unconscious. So now I'm out cold, laying on the floor, and the father wakes me up the next morning, going, "Hey man, are you okay?" And I didn't even know she had a dog. I'm like, I didn't know what it was. All I remember was this little salty, cold piece of bologna, licking me right in this little. This guy threw a strike. This is like 1 out of 1,000. That he hit this spot right between my ass and my balls. So people seem to find it humorous. I got knocked unconscious. I was seeing stars like in a Tom and Jerry cartoon. The stars were going in circles.
Oh my God!
All the best stories are about somebody else's pain. That's always what it is.
Right. But anyway, I saw the poodle the next day, and he looked like he had a good time. He had the snot coming out of his eyes, and he was sitting on the couch panting.
Smoking a cigarette?
Smoking a cigarette. I don't know what happened after that. I was out.
Oh, he took advantage of it.
I was knocked unconscious.
The original roofie.
It's just like you see in the cartoons. When you get knocked unconscious, you see stars. It's like,
yeah, you do.
So.
Oh, man.
That's the infamous poodle story. Now, I can elaborate on things a little more, but I didn't want to get I didn't want to have you guys vomiting. So.
Oh, that's pretty.
But when you get down on your hands and knees and you're crawling under a toilet, man, watch your ass.
That's the moral of that story.
Yeah, like when they lock cows in, they're going to slaughter them. That's how it was under that toilet.
It's like Sal's fairy tales.
It was not good. I still get the chills when I think about it. I'm sorry.
Sorry about that. That's great.
I'm sorry you got hurt.
I'm sorry.
Sorry you got molested.
I get in trouble, man. I got violated by like a 12-pound poodle. I'm sorry. And you know, I still to this day don't understand what the hell I was worried about picking up those soaps for. You know, I mean, I did things to this girl you wouldn't do to a farm animal. And I'm worried about soap.
I heard there's some other story, something with your ass out the window.
Oh, we'll save that one for the next time.
Next time. Well, the ass out the window story is one of those. Yeah, that needs a setup, and that's like there's a documentary attached to that.
That's a good 15-minute adventure. That one.
Yeah, that's more of a survival thing.
You had John.
Where like basically it's like me locking you in a room and saying you can't shit in a toilet, find somewhere to go, and you got about 90 seconds to do it in.
Is that in Saw 3?
Yeah, all I'm going to say is that if you've never taken physics in high school, if you shit out a window, it will not break. It'll just keep coming out like in Play-Doh Fun Factory. It'll just come out straight out. I mean, you'll have like a 20-foot noodle coming out of your ass, and it'll never stop. You know, in a toilet, it breaks because you've got about 9 inches and it hits water, and then it just, your ass says, hey, it hit something, and it breaks right off. But if you stick your ass out a window, it'll look like those things on the side of Princess Leia's head. It'll just start curling.
Is that like a shit Rapunzel?
Yeah, no, really. I mean, if someone's walking down the street, they go, Jesus Christ,
like a window weight.
Look at the lips on that son of a bitch. So this shit wouldn't break, and I'm shaking my ass, and it's just turning into like all kinds of taffy. And it's January in Chicago, so it's steaming now. So I'm getting the steam coming up in that direction. So yeah, it was it made a good. It froze. It looked like a sombrero the next day.
I can't breathe.
That's right.
The entire room is in tears.
It's like people kill me because I try to get guys to tell their best. Listen, and some guys get really pissed off, but I'm like, listen, we're all, it's like everybody at one time or another in their life has had to take a shit outside, because you've just gotten caught somewhere. You've gotten stuck or you couldn't get a bath, and it's like, it's funny to hear what happens to people because it's happened to everybody. Mm. And a lot of guys are like, oh, no, I want, and I'm like, oh, come on, what's the big deal?
Yeah, I've been there, done that.
Yeah.
Not out a window, but,
Come on, I worked construction for 21 years. Do I even have to tell it?
Yeah, it can be liberating when, you shit your pants a couple times.
Oh, Peter knows all about that.
Peter knows that, yeah. Well, that's one story we told everybody as they came into the group.
The human storm.
Yeah, you gotta, I remember, like some guys will really get like, oh, cut it all, stop it. They'll get all serious. And you're like, oh, stop.
Grow up.
They're probably the worst ones.
Yeah, you're right.
They're habitual pant shitters.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when I was a bartender, I used to keep rubber bands at the end of my pants legs so the shit wouldn't come out.
Oh.
You just kick a Snickers under the bar and nobody knows it doesn't.
I just finally got to breathe.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, under a bar, who's going to know the difference? It's like, come on.
I'm going to bring an oxygen tank next time.
Right.
Oh, my God.
Right.
Oh, my
It's
God.
to be, where you just say, you gotta go.
Kick Snickers.